The whole debate about whether to continue with aid to Pakistan is seen as in terms of this is black and white, in simplistic terms. It is influenced by emotion, it is influenced by politics. I think we need a more nuanced understanding of the issue. Are we talking merely about development aid, which includes education, which means hospitals, which means helping Pakistan develop infrastructure or strengthen infrastructure which empower the democratically elected government? That is one sector. Are we talking about F-16s? Are we talking about nuclear submarines? Are we talking about providing a certain kind of artillery gun which is used in a certain area? Are we talking about radars and helicopters? These all are in different categories. Some are reimbursements. So we cannot lump all of these together in one and just after a 60-year relationship all of a sudden say, well, it is not working. It is not as simple as that. A large part of the US aid and international aid also is not reaching the right people. I had a chance to go to to the tribal belt about 5 or 6 months ago, and people questioned me openly, asking me, please show us one hospital or school, because that's how people look at it. People will start thinking about this aid in a positive fashion when they'll see some development which directly impacts their lives. That is not happening. Partly because we are not focused on the right people, as in terms of going after NGOs which are good on paper, but which are paper tigers, which lacks real capacity to deliver. How many schools we can build with the money which is used for buying or selling one F-16 fighter aircraft? How many hospitals will be built with instead of some money which goes into buying of certain artillery guns, for example? Each dollar spent on military hardware means that dollar being taken away from schools, education, infrastructure, energy. If I'm asked for advice, and I would suggest to people in the Congress, if you have $100 each year to give, maybe give $33 to education, $33 to justice system, which has shown a lot of potential. Pakistan had this very successful lawyers movement and a judicial reform effort. I'll put 1/3 of the money in that. And the remaining third, you can think of another big project, maybe an energy sector project. If there's energy shortage in certain area and people would know 5 years from now that this money has come from US, that's the best way to win hearts and minds. United States need to make a very clear distinction at this point between development aid, which should be the real focus because this is people driven, and security-driven policies and security-driven investments. Which kind of investment in the military is actually helping counter-terrorism? And which kind of military hardware is helping on one side any part of the military industrial complex, and on the other side which can be problematic for the regional peace? We know from the 1960s, Pakistan received a lot of money for military's expansion because Pakistan was seen as the most allied ally which is stopping communism from expansion. But Pakistanis also wanted that money for military because they wanted to expand their military to fight or face India. So those kind of distinctions, those kind of nuances are very critical to understand. There is no simple answer to that just cut off all military aid, but revise, review and analyze. Look at the recent history, what works and what may not work. And that understanding and that learning from these mistakes is critical. The development aid is not going to work according to the political cycle in the United States. Whereas, yes, politicians want immediate response, but these socio-political dynamics of the region are such that if you start investing in a school or in a certain cultural change, even cultural change, by that I mean educational activities, more democratic values, this is a process which takes decades. But in this case, even in small things, the benefits will start accruing 5 years from now, 7 years from now. There is a need to look at a long-term context. Yes, whether it was Osama bin Laden's killing, or there was any other terrorist activity, or there is some specific US-Pakistan policy confrontation, these are things which are very important for understanding the current dynamics. But from a long-term perspective, these are small dots in a big picture. We should not miss our eyes from that larger picture.